from that snow patch and rising up into the cloud cover. Yep, we're back. Sorry, lost my signal completely over at the truck stop there right before getting back on the highway, and no signal up until just a few minutes ago when I went back live again. Wonder whose that is. How we still got snow up here, huh? Degrees and there's still snow on the ground in spots. Hello everybody. Yo, 102 degrees, ouch. No, thank you. I mean, can you imagine how hot that's going to be come 4th of July? Or even at that. What about mid-August? Mid to late August, how hot are you going to be? remember when I was younger, all of this up here was just 2 lane. Just 2 lanes. 1 lane going one direction, 1 lane going the other. Sanders supporters. Oh, Bernie really duped them, didn't he? He didn't dupe them just. Yes, I am from this area. I grew up in southeastern Washington on a farm. About 30 miles north of Tri-Cities, Washington. That's where I grew up. Yo. Screen's gotten dim, so the phone thinks it's a little too warm to have a full bright screen. Yeah, but when you're a young teenage kid and you aspire and you have dreams that take you away from there, you're not looking at the overall best living you can have in this country. You're looking at what you can achieve, what goals you can make. And, you know, these big cities are so attracting to the young generation because they want to get out of where they are, you know. Had I known then what I know now, I would have never left the farm. Sad. Most people today don't even know how to change one of their own tires. Most people today don't even realize they have a spare, a temporary use spare donut in the trunk of every vehicle and a jack. Most people don't even know how to use the jack. don't show up on time. If I don't show up to deliver on time, I lose $500 on the load. With extra 500. He got trapped behind me when I went out to go and pass that other truck. Because he did what everybody does. My signal came on and he tried to speed up. Keep it a nice day out, huh? Wake up, Mother Nature. Freedom horns. Ooh, that was a nice female elk. Did you see it on the side of the road? Just sitting there eating. It's a busy road, all right. It's interesting. I've seen a lot more elk this year than deer, which isn't normal. Yeah, this is I-90, mom of one. is always a beautiful place to see. Always. Yep. Well, I-5 and I-90 are pretty much the only two highways. One comes from east to west and the other one goes north and south. They're pretty much the only interstates that Seattle. I-5 goes north and south and I-90 goes east and west. So yeah, there's a lot of traffic on this route. Got people over there fishing off of one of the bridges. Supposed to warm up this week. Aye, aye, aye. I don't know if I can take it any warmer this year. I might have to go out and buy a new fan for the, or a new blower motor fan for the fan in the AC system. Because it's just barely pushing out any, I mean, I can feel the freezing air in it when I put my hand up against the vent, but it's barely pushing out the vent. So I gotta go pick up one of those. Actually, two of them, because this truck takes two. It takes one up front and one in the back in the sleeping area. And they're both dead, so I think they're about, what, roughly around 60 bucks a pop. So it shouldn't be too hard. I just have to tear the dash apart to get to where it's at. Get the old one out, get a new one in, and then call it good. Area, I got to rip the bunk apart, get underneath, and get the old blower motor out and put a new one in. There you go. How's that for busy? How's that for a busy road? Check it out. There's absolutely no reason that should be backed up like that. Even though I already know where we're going, but at least I get a good time frame of when I'll get there out of it. we are in Washington State on I-90. We just came over Snoqualmie Pass, and we are headed to Meridian, Idaho. How is today a federal holiday? I thought yesterday was Father's Day. What is today? I forgot to pick you up. Ask yourself this: how is it that nobody in the world heard about Juneteenth until this last election cycle? How is that possible? And how did it somehow become a federal holiday? It was never on any calendar before. Usually the calendars mark everybody's holidays, you know. Doesn't matter whether it's a Jewish holiday or a Christian holiday or whatever. All the holidays were marked on the calendars before, and I never heard of Juneteenth at all until this last election cycle. Ask yourself how. How is that possible? It's not possible. It was made up solely to combat somebody else, solely to interfere with a particular event. Does anybody ever remember Juneteenth before 4 years ago? Hell, before 2 years ago. Does anybody remember Juneteenth prior to that at all? Exactly. Exactly, mom of one. Exactly. So we're just going to make up a holiday to interfere with somebody else's event that was planned months and months in advance. Make up a holiday that nobody ever heard of before. And sounds pretty ridiculous, actually, when you think about the name itself. It's like they were running out of any good idea. And now it seems to be in direct competition with Father's Day. Well, we all know that the certain agenda being pushed out there wants to destroy the nuclear family, right? They want to get rid of the mother and the father still being in the home together and having a family. They want people to not have moms and dads together and children all living in one house. They want to destroy that. So, okay, we're going to take Father's Day. Well, because everybody thinks fathers are garbage in the first place, right? At least that's the going trend these days. Because fathers don't stick around, fathers don't take care of their kids, fathers don't do this, fathers don't do that. Well, guess what? The vast majority of us are still really good parents, regardless of whatever the media tells you. We're still at home. We're still married. We still have our children. And we still raise them the best we can. But that's what they're trying to destroy, especially by pummeling a fake holiday over the top of a real one. that is meant to celebrate the Father. And can you not see that that's what they're doing? Because that's what I see. That's what I see. I see it very clearly. I'm wondering why the rest of the country can't see it. Anybody got any ideas? It's another high pollen day. Woo-hoo. Well, you know, see what happened was President Trump, this last election cycle, had an event that was scheduled out months in advance, had already been cleared. The other side had tried everything they possibly could to shut that event down. And when they failed everywhere they possibly could, they suddenly came up with Juneteenth, just a couple of days before the event. And to this day, nobody can really tell me what Juneteenth is all about in the first place. What makes it a holiday? Seriously, I would like to know. Because until somebody shows me what it really is and explains to me why it should be a holiday, I believe it, period. To me, you know, I'm sure you understand. April 1st should be a federal holiday, because April 1st is April Fool's Day, and it should be a federal holiday because everybody in our federal system right now is a fool. We should take that day off in protest against the fools. That's what it should be. It sounds all too made up to me, doesn't it? Doesn't it to you? I mean, why would you call it Juneteenth? Juneteenth. What is Juneteenth? I mean, was that even in the dictionary before this? Because guess what? I don't ever remember seeing it in a dictionary or a thesaurus or any other. The word did not exist until this last election cycle. At least not to the general public and the rest of the world. Politicians will say and do anything. They'll even make stuff up to try to make sure they get their way, right? Doesn't matter which side of the politics it's on. They'll make it up. They'll make it up to get what they want. And what's really sad is in that particular instance, they succeeded. They succeeded and forced the president to hold his event a couple days later, instead of the day that it was chosen for. It still didn't stop him from holding his event, though. And it still did not stop hundreds of thousands of people from showing up to that exact one. They were lined up on the interstates and highways in every direction from that event for hours and hours and hours, for several hundred miles there and get in. So you can't tell me that they succeeded by making the date be moved a day or two. It backfired on them. Even more people tried to show up to it instead. Right, and this political pandering needs to stop. Political pandering should be illegal. I mean, I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings, and I'm sorry if you need a safe space. But up until the last few years, there was no such thing as a safe space. Not here, not anywhere in reality, not in this life. Safe space. Never has been. I'm sorry if little Timmy didn't get a participation trophy, but not everybody should be awarded just for showing up. If I take Sid and I get the right paperwork done, he can be an actual American citizen. And as such, he could vote. You know, he could do all that stuff, right? Because, hell, a lot of people who have the dogs that help them for being blind, a lot of them dogs are actually registered as people, as voting people. Bet you didn't know that. So, if I went through all that work, does that mean my dog should get an award every time he shows up somewhere to some event? Whether it's baseball, I mean, like, yeah, so my dog becomes an honorary member of a baseball team. Next thing you know, he's getting an award every time they win a game. Is that right? I don't think so. That'd be like painting up a rock and saying, hey, it's a participant too. It should get an award. Not that I don't think Sid is another extension of a human being to me. I mean, he's my co-pilot. He's the thing that's kept me from going crazy out here. You know? I don't know what I'd do out here on the road without him. Especially when people get me angry in traffic, you know, or you know, they're cutting me off and all kinds of stuff. He knows when I'm starting to get really frustrated. He comes over here and he starts shoving his head up under my hand, forcing me to pet him. He knows. And I couldn't do what I do without him, because I'll bet you I probably would have ran somebody over a long time ago if it wasn't for him. Because he calms me back down. He's man's best friend, right? My little doggy dog. That's right, bud. Yeah, you can finish eating that pizza I gave you, okay? That's right. My dog is eating pizza. My dog eats what I eat. If I'm not willing to eat it, why would I feed it to my dog? Cats can be just as good a companion too, but not in a semi-truck. Oh, I would not be able to stand that litter box smell in the semi-truck. I just would not be able to do it. Because it's too small a confined space. Not to mention you're on a recirculating air system for the ventilation. So, yeah. No thanks. But cats can be good companions too, regardless. Yeah, even my son's companion, right? Even though he's all grown up now. Don't recommend it. Yep. Now that being said, I just took a bird doo-doo on my window, on my windshield here. Let's see if I can get it off, because I can't see through it. That should work. Now I can see through the windshield. I took a big bird poo-poo. A big bird poo-poo right in the middle of my windshield, right in the middle of my view. Coming out of the foresty areas, and we're going to be headed right into the desertous area, otherwise known as the Yakima Valley. We're going to cross through the Yakima Valley, but before we do, we're going to get into Ellensburg, and you're going to be looking towards the east, and towards the east is the Columbia Valley, the Columbia Basin, basically. And it's all a desert, every bit of it. The only reason any of it looks green in any way is because we farm canals off of the Columbia River in order to be right there. You see that? That's all sagebrush. Got a flat tire and she's just standing down there in the grass waiting for somebody to come and help. Anybody live in this area? She's on the eastbound side of I-90, just west of Ellensburg. Get you a mile marker here. So she's just about a mile west of mile marker 98 on I-90 eastbound. Mile marker 98, so she's about a mile behind that. Probably mile marker 97. Eastbound I-90. She's sitting there with a flat tire. She's down in the grass just waiting for somebody to come and help. Because apparently she don't know how to change a tire. I think everybody should be forced to learn how to change a tire on a car or on any vehicle if they're going to have a license to drive one and own one. I think that should be mandatory. Same as checking your oil and your coolant and your transmission fluids and everything else. That should all be mandatory skills to have to know before you can have a license. Not just left up to common sense, because God knows almost nobody out here has any common sense anymore. Giant stripes flying up in the air. Beautiful. That's one nice looking Old Glory. some air circulation in here. There we go. There we go. Let it cool down in here a minute. My AC need a little suction help from the window. Uh-oh. Somebody was out having a good time and it became a not good time. Somebody must be broke down. Really is too bad that I don't have any time to help, because I got all the tools they could possibly want sitting right here on the floor next to me. That's the other thing. If you own and operate a semi-truck, you need to become really good at mechanicking skills. Because otherwise, you're go broke real quick. Because if I break down and I have to take this thing to a shop, first of all, I got to pay an insane tow bill. Then, I got to pay an insane bill to the shop, all for a job that I could have done myself for like, or even just $2,000 at most, right? I could have done the job myself for that instead of spending anywhere from $7,000 to $13,000 in a shot. That's how expensive they've gotten it's gotten to have any work done on the truck, unless you know how to do it yourself. And that's where you save your extra money. Didn't I just pass him? I haven't sped up or slowed down. Gotta love those people that just puttering along all day, puttering along, and then they get passed by a semi-truck, and oh my God, faster than the semi-truck. Love that, right? Oh yeah, replacing those modules are not fun, because you got to figure out exactly which one it is, because every different light on the truck has its own independent module. It's basically like a tiny little miniature computer that tells it to either be on or to flash, or, you know, basically each figuring out which one it is, because none of them are clearly marked, and they're hidden all over the truck. They're not in the fuse box, you know, like they should be. Knowing exactly where to look, or having to take the time to find it in the first place, that's a killer. The time is what's the killer. Not necessarily the work itself, but the time that it takes. Was that a pink Volvo going the other way? Miko, is that you? Sorry, I got a friend bought a Volvo that to me looks pink, but to him, and even on the title it says it's purple, but it looks pink. So I tease him about it all the time. And I swear I just saw him going the other way. Just a little razzing between friends. He's from the Ukraine. Years ago, he had moved into the U.S. and got married here and everything. And him and his wife decided to learn how to drive semi-trucks and the whole nine, and I ended up teaching him how to drive a semi-truck and how to do the job and everything else. He didn't know English all that well. You know, and his wife's an American citizen. And he is now too. He came here legally in the first place. And he became a citizen, and then he met her. And they ended up getting married. But now, runs his own company, the whole nine. So, yeah. I call that one of my success stories when it comes to teaching people how to drive a semi-truck. And him and I have been really good friends ever since.
1.75 miles, take exit 110 on the right to I-82 East.
Yeah, so coming up here, I'm gonna take the 2 lanes to the right to get onto I-82. But if I stayed on I-90 going east, that takes you straight into the Columbia Basin. And that takes you straight out into the farm territory that I grew up in. Then again, when you think about it, growing up on a farm, I practically ran all over the place, anywhere I wanted. From Seattle to Boise to Spokane, down to Bend, Oregon. You know, over to everywhere here in the Northwest. I had the ability to go and do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted.
Then take the exit to I-82 East.
That guy, but that wasn't my buddy. That was somebody else. I found out recently my buddy didn't even know that there was such a thing as a People's Convoy. I mean, yeah, the People's Convoy's already long gone by now, but he never even knew that was a thing. He was just out here doing his job. The media blacked it out so strongly that nobody other than the people that were directly involved and watching the videos of the live streams and everything else, nobody knew. Nobody knew, and people still don't, because they're still shadow banning us and they're still blocking us out on the media. We're not getting any attention because they don't want people in this country to hear it. They don't want them to know, and they don't want those people to possibly rise up and join. The media blackout is part of the problem, and I do believe that we really should have a protest 24/7 going on outside of every single media corporate office and every single media broadcast station. I really do. Because they're lying to us every which way. They're only painting one picture. They're not giving anybody the actual options that are out there. They're only painting one side of the. And that is not what reporting is about. Reporting is not about your agenda. Period. Especially not when you're painting false narratives. Or covering up the truth. That's the other thing. The media's been covering up the truth for so long, they don't even know what the truth is anymore. So yeah, we should have protests outside of every single broadcast station, whether it's TV or radio or social media. Everybody should be in a protest standing outside of Facebook or standing outside of Google or standing outside of Twitter. Put the pressure on them. I got a couple of invoices I probably should pay today when I get a chance. Just depends on how much I got left in my account after what I was out doing this weekend. I spent a bit of money this weekend, but it's not like that wasn't planned in advance. That was the stuff I did this weekend was planned over a year ago. Yeah, Polish Agnes is a really nice lady. She's a really nice lady, and she actually is out there for the right reasons. She's not out there painting a narrative. She's not out there only supporting one side. She catches all the news, one way or the other, in her live feeds. You know, she's completely impartial, which is what a reporter is supposed to be. News for you. There's a fruit truck sitting here on the side of the road getting tire changed. That's news. Should be inside Yakima here within half an hour. Amazing how we went from trees to desert just like that. Boom. And another thing that's really amazing, all of these hills here, and especially the ones that are farther east of here, they all used to have a massive forest on top of them. And at some point in time, that forest was all knocked down all at once. Probably from a major volcanic blast. There was lava that flowed over the top. The logs were so big at the time that they survived the lava flow and actually ended up becoming petrified wood. So we actually have petrified forests over here to the east where they've actually got a museum over there. You can still go out and see where they've dug up a lot of the giant tree trunks and giant trees that fell over that became petrified. there's areas all along here where you can go digging and find petrified trees under the ground and actually harvest it yourself, as long as you're minding all of the P's and Q's that come along with prospecting and all of that. Take a look at photos of Mount St. Helens in 1980, before and after the eruption. Because there is evidence all over the world that there have been volcanic eruptions in the past that were so insanely huge that it's unfathomable how much was affected by it. Because, like, all of the lava forests over here and turned them into petrified forests. They're trying to say that the only place, especially the radius that it goes, the only place that came from was in Montana, that giant super volcano. So yeah, that super volcano exploded before. Who's to say it won't again? And that one there is a planet killer. Or at least a planet as we know it killer. Because if it goes off, I guarantee it'll put so much ash up into the atmosphere that we won't have any sunshine for years upon years, which puts us into basically like a nuclear winter. Reset button right there. That super volcano out in Montana, out in Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, the haters can say we're doing nothing, but we are spreading the word. We are making people aware of what is going on and the changes that need to be made in order to make things better. First thing with those changes are, stop voting for any politician that has had 2 or more terms in that particular seat. If they've had 2 terms, vote them out. Get some new blood in, and make sure when you vote on a new person, make sure you're very well educated in that politician, in all of them, before you decide which one you want. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence they're on, because they're all pushing one agenda anyway. How many people like Ace Hardware? I love Ace Hardware. I find it much nicer and more friendly and easy to than going to Home Depot, that's for sure, or Lowe's. The reason I say that, though, I just opened and started chewing on a caramel that you can only usually find at an Ace Hardware. Hey, Tori, is that you going up that hill? Maybe not. A lot of Canadians down here now. The season for Canadians has opened up. They're everywhere again. I just don't understand how it is they're down here running around, sightseeing and doing their vacations and everything when they've got so much trouble going on in their own country. And they literally are underneath what looks like a dictatorship at the moment. At least to me, looking from outside in, to me it looks like they've turned into a dictatorship up there. And I'm seeing the same thing here. We've become a dictatorship. And oh my God, if you have any belief otherwise than what the dictators say, then you must be a terrorist, right? The world don't work that way, bud. Sorry, I'm really enjoying the drive, so, you know, this is one thing about me, guys. I have always felt 100% happy and 100% at peace when I'm out here driving. It doesn't matter what I'm driving. It doesn't matter if I'm just going in circles all day long. It doesn't matter if I'm driving a boat or a car or a motorcycle or a semi-truck or a gigantic dump truck or some gigantic excavator. It don't matter what I'm driving. I'm in control. And I'm out here just doing what I love to do. I love to drive. I love to be in control of a big giant piece of machinery. I just love it. Always here looking at the scenery as it goes by, because it's all beautiful. No matter what part of the country it is, no matter whether it's this desertous side or the green tree rainy side, you know, it's all beautiful. I've always been somewhat of a gypsy, you know. I've had itchy to get. It's been that way ever since I was a little kid.